Sorry for the delay, folks. We had some technical problems, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Pastor McNary, if you could give us an opening prayer, that would be great.
Good evening, everyone. Father, we thank you for this time of coming together to have conversations, to hear information about building community. We pray your blessings upon each person, upon each family, upon each entity. We thank you for all that you've already done. We thank you for what you're doing, and then for what you're going to do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I do not have an agenda handy, but let's just get started with police and then fire. Is that Officer Muhammad?
He's code enforcement.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to look to see who's with the police department here.
I don't think they've logged on yet, but Chief Jones is here from fire.
Gotcha. Let's get started, Chief Jones.
Well, good evening, and thank you. Sorry, I'm hear some background noise. I am out and about this evening. We had some apparatus issues and getting them settled and still making some rounds. So sorry about it. There's some background, but great news coming from your fire department. Some of the things we want to promote. October is Fire Prevention Month. So our CRR team is out and about everywhere through the city. This month, we have our new fire safety trailer. We also have our new stovetop simulator as we go around trying to teach people about fire safety. We'll be in all the schools this month doing our third grade stop, drop, and roll, plan your escapes. So we're always excited to get out in the community and teach people about fire safety and preventing. With that too, we're excited. The new budget is being loaded. A lot of good things coming this year with the fire department growth for the Sandtown community. District 2 out on Cascade Palmetto, our design build will be going out for bid, which will be our headquarters, training facility, fire station, maintenance, and logistics. So really excited to start getting that project underway. Apparatus, we'll be ordering quite a bit of apparatus this year to make sure our fleet is healthy. Also, if you didn't know, in the last quarter, we have been awarded 2 different grants. One for $122,000 to buy protective equipment, our turnout gear, which is really good. That buys about 30 sets. We also got a $5,000 EMS grant to help us with our schooling and education. Speaking about that, vacancies, we are moving towards having another recruit class in January. We have 35 vacancies that we'll be filling, so more people on board. So that's also a good thing. Call volume is still going up. We are still seeing quite a bit on the roads as far as accidents. Unfortunately, most of y'all may have seen the news. We had a young 9-year-old hit and killed on a bicycle yesterday on Krill Road. And also on Stonewall Tell, there was a 2-car MVA where a person crossed the center line. Police are investigating that, but several injuries out of that. So we're still trying to get out there to get people to slow down. No drinking and driving, no texting and driving. We're seeing that. And as far as the fires go, we're still seeing quite a bit of fires with cooking. So you're going to see a lot of stuff coming out from us about cooking fires and how to prevent them and what to do if you do have a grease fire or kitchen fire. Other than that, we are out and about looking forward to the trunk or treat at the end of this month. Fire wants to defend our title, the best trunk. So hopefully y'all be able to make your way out to Welcome All Park that Saturday for the trunk or treat. If there's anything that we can do, please contact me or anybody on my staff. And that's pretty much all I have for tonight as a report out. Does anybody have any questions?
Chief, we were talking about that CPR machine that you guys have in the
The
pipeline.
Lucas device.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I was just going to ask you to share with people how that works.
Okay, so part of this budget too, that Ms. Subhadan has been going around, we have a new initiative, an EMS initiative to help with response times, with Grady's lack of ambulances, and also just because the hospital, the distances. So we are bringing up rescues. They are on order. They should be in, and we should be putting them in place somewhere around January, February. What we're discussing is Lucas devices. So last year, the city council allowed us to go into an agreement with Stryker. Our life pack monitors, the ones that can do 12 leads that you see that have the defibrillators. We upgraded our entire fleet of 15, and we also got the Lucas devices. So it's been shown that they are very effective when doing CPR. The machine is a mechanical machine. It runs off of a battery, but if someone is in cardiac arrest, instead of someone actually doing the compressions, the machine, we dial it up. We know how many compressions a minute, and we put it on the person, and it manually does the compressions for us. It's shown to be very effective, knowing the right depths and rhythm and everything like that. And then it also frees up your medics to handle other things with the patient as far as either moving, medications, breathing. So it frees it up and very effective. So we do have 3 of those that are in the city that are deployed now, and they'll be going to our rescues soon.
It's great news. And I guess are we in the period now where outdoor burning with a permit is allowed?
That is correct. October 1st, outdoor burning. The state changed the permitting, but we do have on our website, a way to register and then burn yard debris only. Again, if it's reported that someone's burning something other than yard debris, we will come out there, we will extinguish. We give a warning the first time. We move to fines the second time. A few things, they have to be small, controllable burns. The person has to be present with a water source, garden hose to contain it. So you can't just set your yard on fire and walk away. We'll come and put it out. So a few things to be mindful of again. And again, the burn permits are pretty easy. The only thing that we watch is really windy days. We may put a no burn on that day just because of wind factor. But for the most part, all the way through to the spring, you can burn outside.
One question about that. Is it correct that you have to extinguish the fire before sundown?
Yeah, thank you. Something I missed. Yeah, you cannot leave a fire unattended, and basically it's supposed to be from sun up to sundown. So once the sun does go down, you're not supposed to continue to burn. You're supposed to extinguish it. Obviously, if they have a outdoor pit or something like that where they may be just burning sticks, having an outdoor barbecue, those are allowable. We do get caught on those. People see the glow and we show up and they actually have a small fire pit, fire ring where they're sitting around. But yeah, if you're burning yard debris, leaves, stuff, it is supposed to be extinguished before you leave it and go in for the night.
Thank you. I'm still looking for Deborah, but in the meantime, I see our school board member, Franchesca, was here. Well, let's go with our Councilwoman Rowell.
I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. Evening, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good afternoon, evening, night, all those good things. On the school board side, we are starting some pretty big projects for our capital plan. And so I'm going to first start with, yesterday we broke ground on a new school that's going to be happening out of East Point. I'm going to send the link, Mr. David. I wonder if you can share this. Hold on one second. My computer's acting a little bit wonky, or I would have. But we opened up, we broke ground on the new elementary school in East Point, which would be Conley Hills. And so we're really excited about that. That will help alleviate some of the over enrollment in some of our elementary schools. We are also in the stages where we are going to be finishing up plans for the rebuild of Camp Creek Middle School, for the redesign of Palmetto Middle School, and also for the rebuild of S.L. Lewis. Those are 4 schools in South Fulton that are pretty important, because as I've said on this call numerous times, as we are experiencing a lot of building and subdivisions in South Fulton, we are busily planning for not only Capital Plan 2027, which is what we're currently in, but also going through and planning for Capital Plan 2032. As we continue to address some of these issues, some of this overcrowding that we've seen. In addition to that, one of the things that we started with through this unprecedented heat, we have ordered, it took us 2 years to get them, but we ordered 30 new buses with air conditioning. And so we have just gotten the first rollout of them coming out. There will be 15 going north and 15 going south. We used our ARC money, which is our federal funds from the federal government for COVID, to order those. One of the things that we are doing when we're replacing them is going to our oldest buses and starting with our oldest buses. This will be a multi-year solution for the heat that we're seeing now in parts of the Southeast. And so we're busily trying to address some of that. One of the things I really wanted to talk to everybody tonight, last week, we were able to, or at the work session about a week and a half ago, we were really able to go through and we were able to talk about Sandtown Middle School will now be an IB school for MYP. So this will complete the pathway from Randolph Elementary School, Stonewall Tell Elementary School, and Westlake High School. And part of that is just aligning the curriculum. So when you are talking about IB, it is a focus on projects. It is a focus on making sure the kids have the most rigorous work. And so as we start this transition, there is not another middle school that is IB focused on the South Side. And the other one in the district is in Sandy Springs. And so we're really excited about that, to complete that pathway. One of the things that we have been having conversations about as we have been doing this is really shoring up some of our conversations around programming. One of the things that we have been looking at pretty closely is looking at the various programs that each school offers. Of course, at Westlake, they have the IB program. Creekside has the agriculture program. Langston Hughes is a dual enrollment school. Tri-Cities is performing arts, and Banneker is a 3DE school, project-based school. But one of the things we're looking at is kind of how we shore up those programs, make them a little tighter, and bring aboard new programs on schools that are looking to turn over some of their older programs. So that's been something that's really been on our mind. The last thing that I'll talk about that I think is really important is that we're about to end the 9 weeks, and the first 9 weeks of school are about to come up, and all of our kids have gotten progress reports, and they're about to get their 9-week report cards. I'm hearing lots of talk of parents, especially in middle school, really bemoaning the fact that their kids have a lot of work. Like it's really been a shift. And so one of the things we've really been trying to work with parents is every school from our not our title funds, but our ARC funds, every school has tutoring. In middle school, they usually do a subject area day, math on Monday, reading on Tuesdays. Elementary, they do it once a week. High school, they do it during different subject areas during the week. And so encouraging parents to, number one, what are the tutoring options at your schools? I sometimes go into the newsletters of all of our principals, and they're advertising them. And what makes it so important is that after COVID, we got about $100 million worth of funding from the federal government. We've talked about how we spent about $90 million on the science of reading and revamping how reading is taught in our schools, but also we've spent a large part of that money on revamping, offering tutoring for our students, both in school while they're at school, but also after school. And so if we have any parents on here whose children are struggling any of those schools, please, please, please reach out to the teacher and find out what the tutoring is if you do not already know, and or read the principal's newsletter. I just spoke with a mom today at Publix who her child is struggling in pre-calculus, and she did not realize that the tutoring that we offer is totally free, and she was paying for a tutor. And so tonight, as we're talking October 5th, and the kids are out Monday through Wednesday of next week, really focusing on that tutoring that is available to them that we receive federal funds for. Another thing, and this is the last thing that I'll kind of start with, is we have dedicated about $90 million to the science of reading. It's been all over the news. We've been featured in all kinds of research studies, all over national papers about it. And we are at our kids who first started are in 3rd grade. Then of course we worked with every other grade. One of the things that we have rolled out for parents is some tools to help them teach their children when they get home also. And they're called parent units. And basically what we did was took what we're already doing with kids within the school, and we've broken it down for parents if they need some extra work. I will leave the link inside so that people can see it inside the chat. But again, just more opportunities to work with our kids and to make sure they have those foundational skills. I've spoken a lot, so I'm going to pause to see if anybody has any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have children in school, so I'm not familiar with the terminology you were using, but you mentioned something about Sandtown. It's going to be an IB. Did you say IB school?
Mm-hmm.
What is IB?
It's International Baccalaureate. So it is a program that its origins are in Europe, basically where kids it's really a holistic way of doing curriculum. So kids do these middle years projects based on topics they're passionate about, and that kind of guides the research for the rest of their schooling through high school. So for an example, at Westlake High School, we have kids who have MYP projects. So by 10th grade, they're working on their project. And then AP, you have AP courses. IB is also the same type of course. And so those same kids would be taking IB math, IB English, IB Spanish. It's really a rigorous course offering with the idea that when they are in 12th grade, they take a series of tests that gives them not only their high school diploma, but it gives them another diploma, International Baccalaureate diploma, that shows that they are more than prepared for college. So it's almost like an added seasoning to your high school diploma.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? I'll leave my email into the chat if anybody has a question and or concern, and try to loop you in. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
You're quite welcome, and thank you. And I also put that link on Sandtown Community Association's Facebook page. Okay, it seems like Deborah's still having technical difficulties. So, let me open the floor for Councilwoman Rowell to give us an update.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Just want to provide a couple of quick updates that I want people to be aware of. If you get my newsletter, you're aware already that the city council did roll back its millage rate. But in addition to that, you should know that Governor Kemp also did a one-time home buyer, well, not home buyer, a homestead exemption relief exemption. It's for 1 year. And so you probably got your tax bill and you saw a significant decrease. I'm pointing that out because it's for this year only, but it is to respond to the increased inflation we've seen in the market. So I think if you haven't got your bill, you'll probably be happy because it's going to be less than it was last year. In addition, one of the things the city did is we, through our budget process, increased the minimum compensation for any position in the city. So no position pays less than $20 an hour. It was one of the strategies we're rolling out to address job retention, particularly in some of our parks and rec positions in the city. So, and maintenance positions, facility positions. So we think that will be significant in terms of addressing some of those concerns. In addition, one of the things that you may be aware of, it wasn't a widespread thing, but we did have a number of homeowners whose sanitation bills were paid by their mortgage companies from their escrow accounts. And so one of the things, this was not at the request of the city. Of course, one of the roles of your bank is to make sure that you don't have encumbrances or liens placed on your home, those kind of things. So they just saw the fees posted and they paid them. So the Fulton County Tax Commissioner will automatically refund you if there is a double payment. So I just want to make people aware of that. If you've heard about it, it's gotten some coverage in the on news, but I just wanted to share that information. So again, the date, if you didn't complete your payment, was September 30th. In addition, with our budget, there are a couple of things I want to highlight that I think are significant as it relates to improvements that'll be taking place over the next 12 months in the city of South Fulton. Our budget year begins October 1st and runs through September 30th of 2024. As the fire department, I won't probably go into those because Chief Jones covered that pretty thoroughly. In addition, we are working on rolling out a customer service call center for the city. At one point that was contracted out, that would be staffed by internal employees beginning in 2024, fiscal year 2024, which we just started. In addition, funds were budgeted for digital marquees for city facilities, Cascade Road, exit ramp, landscaping and beautification. Worked with Councilwoman Overstreet on this. She was able to get some money on the city of Atlanta side and me on the city of South Fulton side. We want beautiful exit ramps like we have on Fulton Industrial. So that will happen sometime in 2024. In addition, looking at large trash receptacles along our commercial corridors throughout the city, and also moving towards a citywide EV charging stations throughout the city that we'll begin the deployment of that in 2024. One of the things at our last council meeting, we approved a contract for the vendor who would do repaving and resurfacing in the city through our T-SPLOST funding. A couple of the things related specifically to District 1 that you may want to be aware of is we have a number of corridors that are scheduled to be repaved. Old Camilton Road, from Camilton Road to Rocky Head, that's a dirt road in that area, so excited about that. Westlake Parkway, Garrison Drive off of Fairburn Road, Research Drive off of Cascade, Baker's Ferry from Boat Rock to Fulton Industrial, Village Drive to Fairburn Road. Those are scheduled to happen. They'll begin at any point, but they will go into 2024. Of course, when they come up with these schedules, it's weather permitting with paving. They have to have certain conditions to pave. We also approved, and this for 2023, you have 3 subdivisions being paved: Cascade Manor, area along Kimberly and Cascade Glen. For 2024, Cambridge Commons and Woodside Hills. 2025 Boat Rock and the Loch Lomond subdivision. So we have quite a few projects over the next couple years slated for T-Splosh funds. Public Works will continue to pursue other funding opportunities to continue to address subdivision repaving across the entire city. And so we'll keep you posted as they make progress on that. I think those are the main things. I also want to remind people that we have a municipal election beginning this month. Early voting begins October 16th and runs through November 3rd. I want to point out that Wolf Creek has been changed as the early voting location because most people are familiar with that. The closest one, there are 3 in the city, but the one that's closest is basically at New Hope at the Southwest Arts Center. So that's the main thing. And I think I will go ahead and open it up to questions.
We
In
do
the
have a
chat, I
question.
see,
Yeah,
in the chat, I see a question from Mark Seymour as it relates to Camelot or Old National Sports Complex. What I will say about Camelot, if you watched our last council meeting, there was some discussion on this. I think what people need to understand about Camelot is that is not an apartment complex. It's a condominium association with multiple owners, hundreds of owners, which makes it very complex and challenging. One of the things code enforcement has been working aggressively to address Camelot, some of the issues. The reality is some people can't afford to address some of those changes on their properties. And you're probably aware that in the last couple of years, they had a couple fires at that location. It's a very complex issue, but I will tell you they have 2 active HOAs. It's beyond challenging, frankly, but the city is working to address the areas that they can, and they also have some enhanced crime suppression activities occurring, and I'll just leave it generally at that. As it relates to Old National Sports Complex, I don't have an update. I cannot really speak to that. What I do know is the latest development I know on Old National. There's a groundbreaking for an event space on Old National that I think will open. I think the grand opening is in a couple weeks. It's adjacent to Dr. McCoy's office medical building. And so those are the 2 latest updates I have for developments. I know several have been approved, but approval of a project, it may take a couple years, just being realistic, before you actually see any construction or traction on those projects. Did that answer your question, Mr. Seymour? Okay. It says update on the city street lighting plan. They actually have been some updates. They are beginning to roll it out. I know that I got a recent update for like the area along at the tip of Boat Rock in the Regency Hills subdivisions in terms of some lighting improvements in that area. So, we're probably a little bit luckier in District 1. We're probably more lit up than other parts of the city. But they're also looking at adding additional lights all the way down Cascade because they're only in sections of Cascade. So we're looking forward to them to continue to add those lights. When we turn those lights on, we have to be prepared because those become permanent light bills for the city. So again, it's plans to look at lighting throughout the city, looking at the areas where there's the greatest need. And that, is a lot of our major thoroughfares are a priority with that. Are there any other questions?
I have a question about the um garbage. Okay.
Okay.
It was said on TV last week and probably ongoing that you all did not know that the tax commissioner was going to send bills to the mortgage company. They did send it to mine, but I know some other people, it was not sent there. It's hard to believe that, you all set this up with them and that they did not communicate to you all how it was going to be handled. My question is, have you all talked with them, and will this happen again next year?
Well, I would hope it would not happen next year, but actually it's the staff who are involved with the implementation of those projects and rolling them out. So I can't specifically say that, but I don't know what story, you watched in coverage, but our solid waste coordinator, Mr. Gordon Burkett, really spoke to that in terms of, because it was definitely not all across the board. I don't know. It was a number of house or mortgage companies who got it, but a lot of them didn't. So I don't know where the mix up in that is. But again, we hope to address any issues or anything we learned for this first year rollout and to continue to work at improving it.
But do you have control of it not happening next year, or to let us know that it will, so that we can be on top of it with the mortgage company before it happens? Because I will pay my bill. I don't want anyone paying, sending it as a tax, because when you go up, more than likely it will increase my mortgage, and I don't want that to happen. I will pay my own tax bill. I mean, garbage bill.
Well, Dr. Rowell, maybe I'm confused, but I didn't think that Ferdinand sent the bills to the mortgage companies. I thought
Correct.
there was a mortgage company practice to sweep to see what bills are out
Yes.
there. So it wasn't that he double billed people. It's the mortgage companies were very aggressive in making sure there were no liens against the property that they're covering. So to that end, beyond the communications that the city's already sending out, it's incumbent upon us as residents to make sure that the mortgage companies don't pay something that we haven't authorized them to do.
Correct. And that's why
better.
that's exactly why some people didn't experience it and others did, because it depended on the mortgage company. But one of the things, like I said, I know our staff was working with Ferdinand to guarantee that they would return those funds. So I know that's what they're working on. And that's actually the standard practice with the tax commissioner. If they overpay, they issue you money. I mean, I've had that overpayments in the past and they just send you the money back. So we'll try to work on that next year. But again, it was not something that was initiated by the city to have it happen that way, but it did happen to some homeowners. And again, they were not sent as tax bills. It was sent through the tax commissioner, because that office already has your information. So again, as opposed to picking a third party where you don't know what their collection practices are, we went with something that we felt people would be comfortable with, because they already interface with the Fulton County Tax Commissioner.
And most cities, Dr. Rowell, that do collect sanitation in Fulton County are going through our tax commissioner.
Yeah, absolutely. To include the city of Atlanta. I was trying to see, I don't see in terms of when they will be refunded. I think they said, Councilwoman Gumbs, do you remember? It was fair. I think they said like 3 to 4 weeks. I think I heard was number.
That's the number that I recall is 3 to 4 weeks for a refund.
Yeah. Correct, Ms. Collins. It is against the law. Like I said, it's pretty much standard practice for them. If they have an overage, they'll go ahead. And like I said, when I explained at the beginning, a lot of people are probably gonna have, you know, money that's gonna be returned by the mortgage company because of the tax relief that was given by Governor Kemp. So that, in addition to the city's rollback in a millage rate, which should have helped a number of homeowners, and really offset even the sanitation fees by the rollback we gave. So I think, you know, your mortgage companies are going to be doing some analysis of those escrow accounts as a result of that. If there aren't any other questions, just a couple things I didn't mention. Sandtown Rec Center, the renovation is almost complete. They are anticipating wrapping up that process on October 18th. After that, we'll be preparing for exciting opening house for the rec center, hopefully by the end of October, but the work is actually supposed to be concluded by October 18th, which is just in a couple of weeks. So we're very excited about that. And for those tennis enthusiasts, we did approve the rebuild of the tennis course at Trammell Crow Park. So those are a couple of additions to our local parks here in District 1. That concludes my updates, unless someone has any additional question. I'm sure Councilwoman Gumbs may have some as well.
Well,
Yes,
I
the
think you
renovate.
covered the entire city.
What did you say?
I said, I think you covered the majority of what we have going on in the entire city, especially in District 1 and District 2. Just to only have a few updates, so.
Oh, Starbucks. I'm sorry. I'm sure y'all probably have already been there, but Starbucks, of course, is open and has long lines already. So people are excited to have Starbucks in the community. And that's really kind of it. Like I said, it's been kind of busy here, so we're excited.
Did you tell them about your veterans brunch?
No, go ahead. There's so much stuff. If we have it, are there any veterans on the call? Well, I've been sending it out in the newsletter. If you are a veteran, join us, me and Councilwoman Pritchett, and I think Councilwoman Gumbs will be joining us as well now on the 14th from 11 to 2 at the Tennis Center. We're just going to celebrate our veterans. We have a program and a luncheon for you. You can register via my newsletter. You can also, if you use social media, you can register via that. The link that's provided. Special thanks to everybody came out for the Greystone Reliability D1 Town Hall meeting this week. We had a great conversation. If you missed it and you've had any concerns about reliability or issues with outages in your area, please watch that video. It is on the city's YouTube channel, and you can catch it on the city's Facebook page. So we wanted that information widely circulated, very informative. Did I address the speed bumps question? There is a process for traffic calming in our city. Mr. Rusan in our Public Works Department initiates that process. It requires a certain percentage of the homeowners to be open to the bringing traffic calm into an area. Then the Public Works does a traffic study. And as a result of that traffic study, they come up with 3 different options for the traffic solution. And based on that, the community can pick what solution. Right now, each district has money earmarked for traffic calming, and it's on a first come, first served basis, because we basically had no traffic calming previous to us becoming a city. I think we've done about 4 or 5 in District 1 just over the last year and a half. But it's the process, depending on the area you're trying to cover, it could be, I'd say 90 days maybe. to go through the process. And then, of course, the construction of whatever the solution comes after that. But we've done quite a bit of traffic calming. You've probably seen on Boat Rock, Wallace Road, Enon Road, Heatherland. Speed is just a problem now. I don't know, since the pandemic, people have lead foots, but to the best of our ability, we're trying to work through the traffic concerns that we are aware of in the area. And one of the things that most recently I've been working with Public Works, and this is something Councilwoman Gumbs also we've been talking about jointly because it covers both district, is looking at widening the roads along Riverside and Union Road to free up some of that congestion you see by Westlake High School. Of course, that's 2 lanes, and it's really tight, particularly at the tip, but Public Works has begun a study to look at that area about how they can improve that. And so in a future Sandtown meeting, hopefully maybe, if not December, January, they can bring that information back about what direction we're going with that.
Speed cushions.
The speed cushions are, when Public Works and the traffic engineers look, a lot of people automatically think it's going to be speed cushions. It may not be. They look at various scenarios based on their areas of expertise. Speed cushions may be one option, but they'll usually bring 2 or 3. And they look at a number of things that, how the road is designed, how fast people are going. And so they take all that into considerations where they're bringing forth the recommendations with the group who has petitioned for the traffic calming.
That's good to hear.
Okay, I don't think I see any additional questions.
Ms. Denson has her hand up.
Okay, Ms. Denson, if you come off mute,
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, couple of things.
Mhm.
On Fulton, on Camp Creek Parkway, where the DOT has the center part, has those little stakes up there, they keep replacing them. And there are drivers that come by, they do road racing out there.
Mhm.
I want to know, how is that going to be addressed? Because, and I don't know whether this is something I should be discussing within the city or if it's something for DOT, but to me, it's a waste of taxpayers' money to keep replacing that. It used to be maybe 4, 5, or 6 every weekend that had been knocked over, destroyed. Now you can go out there right now and probably find 50 to 100 of them knocked down. That is a problem. And when I call 911 about the drivers, because I can hear them from my home, to let them know there's racing going on out there, the answer I get is that we will call the police when we get a chance to. There needs to be a better response than that. Sometimes people should be able to get some rest in their home without people out there racing all the time. It seems to me there ought to be a police task force or something like that to catch these people and fine them significantly, so there will be less of an incentive to be out there doing that. That's one problem. And the other one I have brought many times, and that is the traffic on Vanderbilt Road. Even when the school time, well, I guess maybe not so much school time, it's a lot of traffic out here. I don't know what needs to be done. It's hard to get out of my driveway if I have an early morning doctor's appointment. If somebody's not gracious enough to let me out of my driveway, I could be sitting out there for 10 or 15 minutes. That's a problem. There needs to be speed, something to reduce the speed during the non-school time. Even the school buses themselves come by so fast that I can't even get the number from my porch to report which bus it is that's exceeding the speed limit. The speed limit is 35 miles an hour. They are going much faster than that. You mentioned speed calming or speed reduction on a road like Wallace Road. I've been out here since 1975. All the times that I have gone on Wallace Road, going over to Carmalitha Road, I have yet to see much traffic over there. Not like on Vanderbilt Road. So it seems to me that there is an effort to solve a problem that doesn't exist. Vanderbilt Road has a serious problem. It is a short street. It is a cut through to get to Westlake High School, and it is absolutely dangerous. It's a good thing we don't have very young kids out there or people are fencing in their yards. But these are problems that need to be addressed before there is a fatal accident. And I'm wondering what, if anything, are you all looking at to address this problem? Because I have brought it to your attention many times.
Ms. Denson.
Oh,
Let's tag team on this. As I reported, part of the issue that we're dealing with, and you know this, once that school, a high school, to be honest, should have never been put on a 2-lane road. That's the first thing. A lot of what we have, especially with a high school, because students drive, we are working through it. One of the things I just gave an update is dealing with the upper end. I'm gonna let Councilwoman, because I do think they have been looking at solutions for the van diver side. But again, I was literally out there 3 weeks ago with a whole team, traffic engineers, planning staff, and they were all assessing that area at the top. So and again, they already started the study to figure out what the solution needs to be for that area. And I know that there's work been previously done on van diver. So Councilwoman Gumbs, can you speak to that?
all right. Well, good evening, everyone. And I apologize for my camera not being on. I'm actually taking a break from another meeting. But just to kind of take Ms. Denson's questions in reference to Camp Creek Parkway, of course, I have reported to GDOT just as of last week about the stakes being down, and then also to that guardrail being damaged and hasn't been replaced as of yet. I did get a response from GDOT to say that they will be addressing that within the next couple of weeks. So you should see those stakes go up. I do understand about it being an eyesore, and then also too that it seems like it's a constant repair, but this is a project that GDOT has pretty much initiated, and I'm usually up all times of the night, and I do hear the street racing. I have been working with our police department to figure out what can be done, because I would like to sleep at night as well. They are trying to develop I guess per a team that is able to be out at night to kind of make sure that these street racers, because it's also happening on our secondary roads and not just on Camp Creek as well. So they're looking to address that. But please know that that's not going unnoticed. So we do know that the street racing is happening. Also too with Van Diver, I think we've kind of talked about this before. One of the things that I have requested, and this was about maybe 3 months ago, where we're asking for a 3-way type of stop sign or some type of traffic calming for where the traffic builds up directly right around school time in the morning so you can get out. I'm hearing it's taking parents a lot longer to, get their kids to school, as well as you getting out your driveway, those residents that live on Van Diver. So I have been working with Public Works to try to see what we can do, either a 3-way stop sign, trying to get a crossing guard or something to kind of help expedite the traffic on there. And as you know, I know we've spoken about this before in regards to the speeding on Van Diver. We have actually done a speed study. And again, as you mentioned, it is a short street. And the results came back that there was not speeding that was exceeding the speed of 35 miles per hour. Now, certainly that wasn't what we all wanted to hear in regards to that, but that is what the study came back as. But again, we're looking to find ways.
excuse me, first of all, I have never seen anything on Vanderbilt Road, and I've been out here since 1975 that shows any where where you measure the speed. So I question the truthfulness of that. Um,
Well, I definitely can send you the
when
emails
they're
and the things that were sent to me in regards to that. So I can
oh,
definitely
I'm not
share
saying that you didn't get something. I'm just saying that it didn't happen.
I understand. But I just want you to know that we are looking at that area. I've heard you loud and clear. And Public Works understands the need for us to do some mitigating on Van Diver Road. So I just want you to know that we are looking. I know it's not moving fast enough, because I wish that we could have done something sooner than later. But again, government works slow.
Okay, well, my question is, how did something get done so quickly over on Wallace Road when, as I said before, I travel that way, and it's a rarity that I ever encounter another vehicle. So I don't understand that there is no traffic going through there to the high school. There isn't anybody as if they're on a speedway, Atlanta Motor Speedway. They come through here far exceed 35 miles an hour. I'm about in the middle of the street, and by the time the cars get up here, I mean they are just flying by.
Mm-hmm. And well, you also know,
And like I said, I don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and I understand. And as you know, we are trying to look and figure out ways that we can decrease the speed on these residential streets as well. So we're waiting for an update from GDOT on some of our other streets to where we can actually lower the speed. I do get nervous seeing you out there cutting your grass as well with the cars flying by. But again, I just want you to know that we are looking at that and seeing what we can do to fix it.
Thank you.
Last meeting, I did ask our school board member, Franchesca Warren, about whether or not they electronically monitor the speeds of buses. And they do, and there are consequences for drivers at speed.
Awesome.
Yep. The only other thing I wanted to say is for every one of those barriers in Camp Creek Parkway that's damaged, that's likely a head-on collision that's been prevented. So, it's not the prettiest. Obviously, they don't have the manpower to patrol it, get a crew out to fix it and the like. But we're not seeing the fatal crashes from people crossing over the median anymore. And I think at the end of the day, that's more significant than the aesthetics.
Excuse me, I
totally
disagree
agree.
with you. People are out there racing. It has nothing to do with head-on collision.
I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about
We're
is
saying
the
that
cars.
people aren't dying because we used to have Camp Creek shut down on a pretty regular basis due to accidents, especially along, those major intersections. Enon, Camp Creek, it's not what it used to be. It's definitely better. Is it where we want it ultimately to be? Maybe not, but it's a huge improvement in what it was. And we're going to continue to work at it.
Yes, in regards to that, and that was part of my update as well. Certainly, Councilwoman Rowell and myself, we have been working with GDOT probably for about the past 4 years to really try to address these violent crashes that are happening from all the way from Fulton Industrial all the way up to Old Fairburn Road that are on Camp Creek. A lot of it has to do with speeding, but right now GDOT is actually looking at the timing of the lights. I do know for Button and Camp Creek, they just recently made a static change to where their timing of the light, because we've had a couple fatal crashes there as well. I am asking for some additional updates because there's some striping that needs to be done at some of these intersections as well. But again, they are on a crusade to kind of make sure that we're educating residents all throughout the city of South Fulton about speeding, because that is the main reason as to why, we are experiencing such violent crashes at all of those intersections. So again, we are working on that as well, and hopefully we'll see it has gotten better. It has, but one death, it's too much. So, but it has gotten better at these intersections. And as we continue to grow as a city, we're going to try to make sure we're fixing that.
And the other thing is, as a state road, it's GDOT that has the jurisdiction, so the
I
city's
realize
not,
that.
they're not legally able to do anything. I did put a contact link in the chat. And, you know, you just have to be persistent with GDOT, because, you know, I've only been out here 30 years, but my experience is they're not nearly as responsive as the city is now.
Absolutely.
And let me also tell you, like Councilwoman Gum said, some of these traffic things we've been working on for 3 and 4 years. These aren't like we just hear it and we start working on them. Living in this community, we know some of those very same challenges, and they're not new challenges. Again, GDOT has to allocate its resources all across the state. So you have to stay vigilant. Councilwoman Gums just had a town hall meeting that I attended as well on dangerous intersections. And we need you all also for those meetings so that they hear from you. You know, we sit in meetings all the time with, you know, various levels of government trying to address and advocate. That's a big part of what we do, advocate on your behalf with these different government agencies who may have jurisdiction. A lot of time the public thinks it falls under the city and it's a completely different government entity. And so when we have those meetings and we bring those stakeholders to the table, to our town halls, we need you to show up and show out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with that. It's very difficult. Actually, like I said, living in this community, you see it happen, but you know, I almost was hit the other day by a UPS truck. I think again, it goes back to the education, because everybody's always in a rush. And since the pandemic, everybody's speeding, everybody's always in a rush. So it's just trying to figure out, you know, how to be courteous to the next driver as well, but also protecting yourself. Did you talk about the swap assistance, if anybody, in regards to that and what's happening?
I didn't touch on it, but I know we serviced over 600 households who applied for swap assistance. Was that what you were gonna share?
Yeah, and that I know people are not, they need to check with their mortgage companies as well, because we sent the payment to Fulton County. There has been a delay from their mortgage companies updating their accounts, but all of those payments have been sent to Fulton County. We've been receiving emails from residents that were approved, and they're saying that it's not reflected on, you know, their bill. So we're asking, once we do our research and we pull up the information, it'll show that Fulton County has been paid by the city, and they have paid the mortgage company. It just hasn't been reflected on their bill. So before we get those emails, make sure you do your due diligence and just double check with your mortgage company to make sure that the account is reflected as such. So it's been 300 years. So you covered mostly everything, the Veterans Brunch, the economic development event that's happening. As far as for small businesses, I do believe the Economic Development Department is having an event showing how to get employee tax retention or retention tax credit. So I think that'll be a good thing for small businesses or local businesses within a community. That is actually on Tuesday, October the 17th, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at our Economic Development Office off of Old National. And they are giving away a $300 gift card. So if you have a small business and you have employees, I would suggest you just go and get some great information and attend that as well. Again, there's some great things happening in the city, too much to really name and talk about. The budget was just recently passed. You will start seeing a lot of our projects moving through the system. Also too, just briefly for District 2, the sidewalks for Union has been approved through that budget. Also to the ones off of Enid Road. Also to the canopy for Wolf Creek Amphitheater and some additional things, the street lighting study. So there's a lot of things that we've been kind of holding on and hanging on to, but the budget now that's been approved, you will start seeing some movement on these things, especially the paving for Rocky Head Road. I know that's been a pain in the neck since I took office, but we're going to start paving these small dirt roads as well. So just not to belabor everyone's time, there is a lot happening with the city. Again, Councilwoman Rowell has provided the majority of what's happening, but please, if you have questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be available to answer any of your questions.
Ms. Polite?
Yes. Has the DOT done a study of the traffic on Camilton Road, starting at Reynolds, crossing Camp Creek,
Yes.
to that other traffic light that goes down to Westlake? With Starbucks coming in there and the other Chipotle, and all of the apartments or townhouses right below there, this
Yes.
traffic is going to be really, especially with Starbucks. You already said there's the line there, and I know over there at on Cascade with that little area, that's bad. So anyway, have they done a study on what kind of traffic we're going to have and something they can do to assist that?
Yes, in fact, whenever you have kind of large scale projects, and it was kind of prompted for the projects, it's actually diagonally across from Publix. They have a study, a regional impact. So one of the things they have been looking at, and this even study has been on probably a year and a half, maybe. It was done a year and a half ago to look at what solutions for really starting at Wallace, going across and all the way to the Douglas line. So if you kind of notice, along Camilton, it was always projected that it would involve some level of widening. They've kind of been doing it as the projects have come online. You even see it, even though you don't completely see it coming out of Riverside. You see the turning lane, but you also see the road is widening as they go. So absolutely. I'm hoping that they finalize whatever they're talking about, particularly between Wallace and Camp Creek, because it's hard to get onto Camilton Road from Reynolds, the road I live off of. And so we've been kind of waiting to hear exactly where they landed. Hopefully, in the next couple of months, we can bring them back to really talk about that one in particular. But you also see at Camilton and Stonewall Tail, the road is being realigned and a traffic light is being installed there. That's supposed to be finished by the end of this year. And so absolutely, that's why we're constantly in conversation with GDOT. I mean, the reality is in District 1 and 2, our main artery roads are all state roads. So Camilton Road, Camp Creek, Fulton Industrial, Cascade, Palmetto, we're kind of at the mercy of GDOT, so we have to stay at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we need to be at the table with you on that, please let us know.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, like I said, we had that recent conversation with GDOT was it even 30 days ago, Councilwoman Gumbs?
It wasn't 30 days ago, but yeah.
So
And
we'll
we don't
continue to bring
hesitate to take residents down to the Capitol with us. If you all are pretty much our enforcement and our backup when we really, have these issues. So I just recently had a meeting with GDOT and the state reps, and I had to bring residents down there with me as well. So whatever you can do to get involved, because again, this is our city together. We really need your voices though.
Okay, thank you.
Lastly, I mean, I know there's, we're talking about traffic. However, the city is going to continue to grow. I do know that there are a couple of developments, projects that will be coming in front of the Sandtown community within probably the next couple of meetings. So look out for that. Still excited about the Westwood project for some of you all that have been following that. So there will be some more communication and they will be specific for the Sandtown Community Association. So please stay tuned. And again, you can always follow our newsletters and get more information on our social media sites just to stay up to date with what's happening. And I believe that's really all that I have at this point in time. Any questions?
Any additional thoughts you want us to share? You want to share with us to consider, look at?
Well, this is a quiet bunch.
Right, that's the first. I'm like,
Well, I don't mean to be the person who's talking, but seriously, look at the areas coming out of Publix. If there's no light to come out there by, come straight out of Publix. And then if you go around to go to the other street to try to get to the traffic light, there's a line of cars coming from someplace that you can't get out there. So it's just a hassle to get out of that shopping area.
One
that
thing
was
I'll,
the intersection I was saying that they were just doing a study on, and they were out there. I mean, I literally was out there and sat with them for probably an hour watching with the engineers, the planning staff, the city, and everybody was there. So that's already well underway. I will tell you, just based on GDOT standards, they are not going to put a light at the main entrance coming out of Publix because it's too close to the light at Cam Creek is what they're saying. So they are looking at other options. That's why I said, hopefully we can bring GDOT back, in the next couple of months to give us on that whole corridor. Some of it you already see happening, but again, we just need to continue to be engaged around this issue. And me and Councilwoman Gumbs are both committed to doing that, bringing them back to the community, in front of the community. Whether it's Sandtown or really a bigger forum, we need them to hear from you all.
Okay, thank you.
and to
And then
support
also,
with, go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
and I normally don't speak on rumors, but I'm just trying to make sure that this doesn't grow legs. But there's a development that is coming on the District 2 side that was approved about maybe 2 years ago. It is a senior community. It is not apartments. I received a lot of emails saying that we're building apartments off of Campbellton, Stonewall and Campbellton, and they are not apartments. Those are homes that are customized for 55 and up. So I just wanted to make sure I cleared that up. So we have not approved any apartments on the District 2 side or even at the corner of Stonewall and Campbellton. So I just want to make sure I cleared that up. And that light is supposed to be, it's slated to be completed by the end of the year, but we may extend it to January.
I had already kind of shared that.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
I
Okay.
hadn't heard that rumor, but it's so many. You
Mhm.
if you countered the misinformation, you wouldn't have time to do your job.
And to
Any
affirm
other
what,
question? And that's I think is that the Venture Communities project?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah, and it's only like 23 homes, right? Or
Yes,
it's very few homes. Well, we might finish early if there aren't any additional questions or feedback you would like to provide us.
well, that said, if that's the duration of the city council segment, we've got Pastor McNary on the line, and he's got a number of activities that are happening and the like, and we offered to give him the opportunity to speak. So, Pastor McNary, are you there?
Yes, good evening again. And thank you for the opportunity to kind of share a PSA of sorts. And one of the dynamics, and I'm thankful for the both the city council members that were sharing. One of the dynamics as the city moves forward, and I speak to this not on behalf of other pastors, but as a pastor, is to consider faith communities and collaborative efforts. I think we do a good job in terms of meetings and the like, but one of the dynamics will be as we talk about things such as the septic, talk about things such as trash collection. Sometimes churches are on the fringe of all of that discussion. So it's good. And then also we're open, still very open, as we were pre-pandemic, to hosting meetings. We see that as a part of our community charge. We don't see that as a part of seeking to try to make money, but we see it as a part of being good community citizens. So just to know that. What I wanted to speak to for a couple of minutes was something that we've been working on with other churches locally and churches outside of the region, to pull together a major emphasis during the holiday season. And during the holiday season, of course, for us as churches, this is very significant for us. That is not a commercialization. It's a time to engender goodwill. It's a time to share with those who are less fortunate. And then also a time for us to share our message as faith communities to people that are more stilled at the time. So there are three major pieces that I wanted to just kind of briefly touch on this evening, because I know there's a whole lot between now and the end of November, and especially now in December. So we get that, we understand that, but also we just want to serve and have been having the conversations to share that we are not dormant, that churches are not dormant. Churches on Campbellton Road, especially from 285 going west all the way to and beyond Camp Creek, are involved in prayer and involved in community activities, but also particularly for Christmas. And this is exactly what this emphasis is called, is this is Christmas. We will usher it in at Decision Point. We will have an outdoor tree, live tree, that will be there, that will be lit for the season. We have an activity planned on Sunday, November the 26th. And again, I don't want to get into a whole lot of detail with these, but just to kind of share with the associational members and others that these things are in beyond the planning stages. They're in the implementation times. On these, that would be the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and to kind of usher in again a community feel for the holidays. The next event would be a senior citizen luncheon for those seniors that are not a part of senior communities in particular, but for those who are in single family homes. So we're going to provide an atmosphere for those around the area for 125 seniors to come together, fellowship, sing some Christmas carols, have some good quality food. And then also for 25 seniors that are at home, those meals would be delivered to them on the 7th of December. And then the big piece to this that will provide an environment that is safe, that is family friendly, that is fun, will involve various stations on the church grounds where people will be able to do walkthroughs to get a true sense of what community Christmas could be like. And so there will be music, there'll be free food, everything will be free. And here's where we come together as we're seeking to do our part to bring people together for a common cause. We have committed to and confirmed with Hosea Helps that all of what we receive by way of the donated items that we're asking people to give will go to Hosea Helps. And what we're asking for are new items that are small. So there's no charge for any of the activities that will be going on, from the Christmas tree lighting to the week of Christmas, the walkthroughs. But we are asking people to bring either socks, mittens, gloves, or knit hats. And all of those will be collected and will be given to Hosea Helps to help with their activities to help the homeless and the needy at the time. Both the Amalatis were real excited about this being a joint project between several churches, and we have a couple of churches coming from as far away as Maryland. And the church in Maryland called this evening and said that they are taking this on as a mission project of sort. And they challenged their members to, they're going to hopefully bring from their goal side 2,000 pair of socks that they want to bring and donate it. And they're flying in for the week to be here as a part of this. So we will be well staffed in terms of interfacing with the community, from our church, from other churches in the area, even churches on Hamilton Road. We will have a specific promotion piece that we'll be sharing with the officers of the association, and also will be available to talk more in detail coming up. But just know, we're excited about this. Christmas for the church is our Super Bowl. There are other holidays, there are other things that go on, but this is important for the faith community to have a time of expression of that. And I know we as individuals have this, and we're not mitigating different other views about Christmas, but we feel like this is important for us to begin as a tradition in the area. So thank you for the time to share a brief overview about that. And we'll be sharing. There will be a social media site that you will be able to go through and see all things This is Christmas, with a full understanding of what we're seeking to accomplish in building, playing a part in building community. Thank you, Brother Harvey. I don't know if we want to save questions for another time, and I don't want to prolong the meeting.
We're okay on time, so if anyone has questions of Pastor McNary, and just to give you perspective, we had our meetings in Decision Point Ministries, which is next door to Sandtown Middle School, before COVID. And then when we went to the Zoom platform, we found that we got better attendance. So
Yes.
anyway, if anyone
Yeah,
has any
yes.
questions for Pastor McNary, please do so.
I would share this as well to the group and those that are still remaining, because he was a regular part of those meetings that you just shared. He actually lived on Reynolds Road. This weekend, one of the members of our church transitioned, Cornelius Peterkin. He was an older gentleman who was always around the church and who had been there, a long time resident. He passed away. He was actually in Florida with his daughter. There will be a memorial service at the church later this month, and we'll be sharing that on the church's web site and other media places. But we're sorry to lose him.
What, Pastor McNary, wasn't he just on the post with one of our police officers?
No, not real recently. He maybe some months ago, but he's been down in Florida of recent.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It is challenging. We did put up some pictures we posted to his website some pictures.
Mhm,
He was very active with helping us with our work with Sandtown Middle School.
mhm.
He was there, you know, on King Day projects. Just real there. And he, of course, his home is being sold. They're selling his home there on Reynolds Road. But
Mm.
he his health began to fail him here about 6 months ago, and so this weekend he went home. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Deborah, I don't know if you're able to get your audio going. Okay, she's waving at us. Well, basically, I believe that's it. I want to thank everyone for participating. I would encourage you, if you're looking for information, the city's got a website. Fulton County Schools has a website. Obviously, the city does, and our council members and the like, but we have quick links on sandtown.org on the homepage, as well as a way to sign up for our distribution list. And we also have a Facebook page, which is Sandtown Community Association. Period. So in any event, there's a host of information out there. It's great when people are empowered to take advantage of it. Oh, Stephanie, are you out there? Deborah was prompting me to let Stephanie speak. I don't know that I see her.
I don't see her.
Okay. Well, in any event, we thank you all for participating tonight. Our meetings are always the first Thursday of the month at 6:30. And you can always find the link to the meetings on www.sandtown.org. But we will see you next time on November 2nd. Everyone have a blessed evening, and we'll talk later. I see you waving, Deborah.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good night.
Night all.
Harvey,
Yes,
Harvey, are you able to get the information when that gentleman's memorial is going to be at the church? When
I
you
will.
send out, is that appropriate?
That's great. Pastor McNary, if you'll send it to me,
Yes,
an
sir.
email, I will forward it to our distribution group.
Okay, will
Because
do.
as you said, we used to meet there, and we always felt welcomed, coming there. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
thank you.
Yes, will do. God bless.
Okay, bye-bye.